Welcome to the Prepped and Polished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to take control of your education, featuring weekly interviews with influencers in the world of education, as well as tutoring tips, lessons, and updates.
Hi everyone. Welcome to another tutoring tips episode of the Prepped and Polished podcast. It's your host, Terri Karol of Prepped and Polished. Please be sure to check out our website, www.preppedandpolished.com, for more info. While you're there, sign up for our free tutoring and test prep tips newsletter. It comes out monthly. You can join our Prepped and Polished community on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Prepped and Polished. You can submit a question during the show or after to radio@preppedandpolished.com. We love hearing from you. Let's get right to it. So last summer, the ACT was informing students about enhancements to the ACT in the future. Well, the future is now. Students should prepare for the ACT changes coming in fall 2015. Although most of the changes are subtle, the biggest change is to the ACT writing test. The essay. The enhanced writing test is a 40-minute essay as opposed to, it used to be 30 minutes. It's a 40-minute essay test that measures writing skills, specifically those writing skills that are emphasized in high school English classes and in entry-level college composition courses. Previously, students were required to write a classic persuasive essay. They had to take a position on a prompt relevant to high school students, such as, should there be a dress code? They really liked that one. Or, should a student have to maintain a C average to obtain a driver's license? No one agreed with that one. Now, however, students will need to consider multiple viewpoints on a contemporary issue, such as globalization, genetically modified foods, space exploration. And then the students will need to evaluate 3 different perspectives given and provide their own positions. The enhanced writing test is considered more broadly argumentative, but keep in mind that the ACT will continue to be a curriculum-based achievement test, and the changes will be made in a gradual and thoughtful way. So students are curious, what will this enhanced writing test look like? Well, the writing test will have a paragraph about a contemporary topic such as intelligent machines, space exploration, like I said, genetically modified foods, globalization. But let's take intelligent machines for an example. Students will be given a paragraph that explores that topic. And here's an example. Many of the goods and services we depend on daily are now supplied by intelligent automated machines rather than human beings. Robots build cars and other goods on assembly lines, where once there were human workers. Many of our phone conversations are now conducted not with people, but with sophisticated technologies. We can now buy goods at a variety of stores without the help of a human cashier. Automation is generally seen as a sign of progress, but what is lost when we replace humans with machines? Given the accelerating variety and prevalence of intelligent machines, it's worth examining the implications and meaning of their presence in our lives. And then students are given 3 perspectives on that paragraph or topic, and they're told to read and carefully consider those perspectives. And each one would have a different slant. For example, perspective 1 might say something like, what we lose with the replacement of people by machines is part of our own humanity. Perspective 2 might say something like, efficiency of machines leads to more prosperous and progressive world for everyone. Machines work better than humans. And perspective 3 might be about the future. Intelligent machines challenge our long-standing ideas about what humans are or can be. This is good because it pushes both humans and machines toward new, unimagined possibilities. And then students have to address the essay task, which is to write a unified, coherent essay, and they have to evaluate these multiple perspectives, in this case on the increasing presence of intelligent machines. And they have to analyze and evaluate the perspectives given, state and develop their own perspective on the issue, and explain the relationship between their perspective and those that are given. The student's perspective could be in full agreement with any of the others, they could partially agree, or they could have a totally different view, as long as they support their ideas with logical reasoning and detailed, persuasive examples. So I just scored a winning essay the other day, and the one element that I noticed that really made it so good was that it was unified. Instead of just addressing each perspective and saying, I like this one, I don't like that one, it integrated the perspectives into the students' own views, and it was done very skillfully. So that's very important. Students are very curious how the enhanced writing test will be scored. Well, the essays will receive a 2 through 12 on each of 4 important domains of writing competency reflected by the ACT competencies model. And these domains are number 1, ideas and analysis, number 2, development and support, number 3, organization, and number 4, language use. I really think that this is, much more helpful to students because rather than an overall score, these 4 areas will much better indicate strengths and weaknesses. And that will help students in turn to improve their scores through targeted practice, and they can more fully develop their analytical writing ability. Students have asked me a lot about the scoring, and I think this is important to note that students will receive a new score, an ELA score, and that combines the scores from English and reading tests with the writing score. Students are relieved that the writing score will not affect the 1 through 36 ACT composite score. So that, I think, is very important in terms of the scoring. Students and parents also want to know, why is the writing test changing? Students have sort of gotten used to the classic persuasive essay they wrote in the past. But there's a simple answer to that. The ACT strives to be the gold standard when it comes to college and career readiness assessment. And they've done a great deal of research in this area, and the new writing test, the enhanced ACT writing test, will be a much more relevant predictor of college and career readiness and success. Now, one key question that students have been asking me is how to prepare for the enhanced ACT writing test. Is there some way to prepare for it? And there really is. I think the best way to prepare is for students to read differing viewpoints in editorials and articles, in newspapers and magazines, and listen to debates. And there's no shortage of all of that. In fact, my local newspaper has a section devoted to differing viewpoints, and it's called Opinions. And by immersing themselves in differing viewpoints in newspapers and magazines, articles, etc., students will really expand their worldview, something which I feel is necessary. And they'll also see how really good opinions are constructed, and that will help them to develop their own perspectives, which they can use on the new enhanced test and just in conversing, day-to-day conversation. This wraps up our show, number 91, ACT Essay Changes Fall 2015. Remember to access all of our podcast episodes. To do that, go to www.preppeddandpolished.com/podcast. Thanks for joining us on the Prepped and Polished podcast. Now go out there and take control of your education.
You've been listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast. For more information, check out preppedandpolished.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.